terms related to song, the poetic aspect. So from the Greek melos, the poetic composition or poetic aspect of the literary work. So the musical quality of great poetry, but also prose to some extent, um, comes from its melody, the quality of the language, like the duration, pitch of the words, but also from the rhythm. And we talk about rhythm in terms of the quantity of the meter and the structure of the feet. Okay, and I'll describe that in the following slides here. So the feet, a foot is the structure of accented and unaccented syllables in the poetic line. So an iambic foot is an unstressed and a stressed syllable. So an example of a word that is naturally an iambic foot is about, about, unstressed, stressed, about. Trochaic is stressed and unstressed. So the example there is table, or an anapest is an unstressed, and then a stressed. Understand. Okay, I'm overemphasizing here for clarity, but dactylic, and the poetic the poetic foot used in ancient Greek epic, but for them it's in the duration of the syllable. We won't go into that now, but is a stressed and then two unstressed syllables. A dactylic foot. Washington is an example. Spondaic, two stressed, heartbreak, and pyrrhic, unstressed, unstressed. The sea, son of mists. So there's not really an example of two unstressed syllables in a word. So that's what I mean by foot. And then the meter is the number of feet in a line. Okay, so iambic pentameter is 5 iambic feet per line. Okay, penta is is 5, right? 5 meters of that iambic structure. So an example here from the first line of Shakespeare's sonnet number 12. When I do count the clock that tells the time. Sonnet 12. If you haven't read Shakespeare's sonnets, I'll include a link to my lectures on it. But so important, such a great work. Now you can have, and this is exceedingly rare, a line of poetry that has 1 meter, monometer, dimeter, trimeter, tetrameter, pentameter, hexameter. So, and then 7, 8, etc. Now, the example has when I do count the clock. So here we have 5 very regular iambic feet, right? So there's no variation. Now, no poems work that way throughout the whole poem. It would be too clunky. But in some ways, this poem, Shakespeare's Sonnet 12, is being that regular in order to emphasize the thematic. And the thematic has to do with around time's flying and it's ticking kind of like a clock. So when I do count the clock that tells the time, here the meter is actually emphasizing the theme, that this notion of time ticking by and just racing on, and we can't kind of hold on to something that's enduring. So I'll stop there. I hope that's been useful for you as you begin to undertake your literary analysis. As I said, I've got some links to my other videos that go into the works or go into the other tips on how to write a research essay. All the best in your study of English literature or any literary text, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.